own homegrown learning environment, learning management system called Tyco. And part of that initial training is learning the mechanics of Tyco. However, there's a lot of pedagogy that's included in that initial instruction that we give the faculty. And I would echo Christine's point that teaching online and teaching face-to-face is a very, very different animal. In many respects, faculty find it more difficult than teaching face-to-face because with a face-to-face class meeting once a week, you go in there and you sort of run your mouth for 2 or 3 hours and you forget about it until the next class session. However, online environment,
some of us maybe.
But an online environment it's almost continuous. For me, I'm teaching a class this semester, and I have to check the class every day. If I don't, there will be 20 or 30 responses that I have to deal with in the classroom. So it's a very different environment. So we do require that first course, but we also have a lot of professional development courses available to faculty. And we also try to foster a very strong relationship between adjunct faculty and our program directors. We want our program directors who are faculty to be there for the adjunct faculty, to be a person that they can talk to about situations in the class, problem students, and pointing the faculty to other resources within UMUC that are available to the faculty member.
So there's no problem in motivating faculty to go through a professional development sequence?
I wouldn't say that. We do, unlike Virginia Tech, most of our instruction is done by adjunct faculty. And it is a condition of employment for someone to go through a program that Alan describes as at least an initial orientation in order to teach for us. Nevertheless, there is some pushback. There are people who say, well, I've taught for UMUC for 10 years. Why do I have to take your orientation? But I would go back to my earlier comments because this is now Excelsior College, and you need to believe and subscribe to the model that we have. So there is some pushback because there's a larger pool all the time of people who have experience teaching online.
What about the administrators who supervise online courses? Should they be required, or are they required to go through some sort of professional development themselves? Tom, you've got a big smile on your face.
Well, it's easier to require the administrators than it is the tenured faculty. Certainly, I think you know, that anything like that, the understanding of online education is good. So yeah, I would. We're structured a little differently, and that our program chairs of the distance learning programs are still the tenured distance learning faculty. So we have something there that is more like my earlier answer of the system where we can entice them and work with them. And again, it's not a program, I think, or not a problem. I think everyone, for the most part, that is teaching for us appreciates the resources and the training that we can give them, because they do want to be successful. For the administrators, at least anyone working in distance learning, yeah, there's training, there's orientation, there's working. We have an orientation program for anyone that's comes through our Institute for Distance and Distributed Learning, where they learn about the students' needs, learn about the design, the instruction, and even take some activities and some courselets dealing with online, so they get a better sense. And it's interesting, we've attracted more recently in our hires individuals who have come from completely online degrees. So there's this is somewhat of a nice trend that the people I'm hiring now know what it is like to have been an online student because they were one.
You know, I know at Old Dominion University in Virginia, in interview processes, they're actually asking prospective faculty if they have online experience or they have, that's part of the interview process now. Right. And Christine, you've been a faculty member and an instructional designer, so I assume that the supervisory side of it, the administrative side of it, is not a problem with your place.
It is very helpful that I came from online and getting my graduate degrees online also. and that was very useful. But I do think, getting back to your original question, it is critical for distance learning administration to get ongoing professional development, because the changes are fast in the industry, and they're much faster than they have been in traditional education. And when you're combining those fast changes along with the fact that in many traditional institutions, the distance learning administrator is the connection piece between academic and support services for all distance students and faculty. So we are generally working with both sides of the house to make sure our students have the same services as the on-campus faculty. And we cover a lot more area. We're not specialized in financial aid or specialized in advising. And so it's very important to keep on track of changes.
And similarly, do you have administrative requirements at the University of Maryland? You have a vast program that goes internationally. You have hundreds of thousands of distant students.
Yes, we do. And our programs are administered by faculty members. They're called collegiate faculty. So they hold faculty rank. So they're not administrators in the pure sense of the word. They have an academic discipline that's not necessarily education. It would be information technology, management, finance, whatever. And so we have a vast array of professional development workshops available to our administrators. We also encourage them to attend conferences, to present papers at conferences, to sort of keep current as to their as to their discipline. But we also have the in-house sessions. We have one coming up, in fact, in December. That's kind of, when I saw it brought a smile to my face, how to deal with troublesome students. And that's something I definitely want to attend. So yeah, we offer them. We don't necessarily make them required, but we do have the resources available to our faculty, and we encourage them to take advantage of them.
Let me turn to the issue of quality and ask you, Dana, it's a very subjective term, and accrediting agencies are looking for quality, and they've addressed that issue in distance learning more recently. How does an institution move forward with a quality initiative and encourage faculty to embrace those efforts? What motivates the faculty member to improve his quality, and how does the institution deal with it?
Well, I think that many of the faculty who teach for us and for many of the other online institutions are coming to the institutions because they want to teach. They're not coming to do research. They're not interested. They're interested in teaching their students. So I think while there's these external motivators or requirements, such as mandatory orientation, I think there's an intrinsic value that we tap into when we talk about quality improvement for our faculty. Those who genuinely care about their students and care about having a quality experience for those students. Now, there are things that we need to do as an institution, though. We need to provide clear resources to engage in a quality initiative in activities like Quality Matters, which I believe comes out of the Maryland system, and provide support for that kind of activity.
And what about quality at Capella? You've done a lot of work in online and a lot with systems there. And how do you address quality?
Well, we look at quality from a number of perspectives, of course. One is the institutional perspective and how we evaluate the quality of our specific programs, as well as from a student and a faculty member perspective, and then of course the course design itself. So about a year ago we went into an initiative to actually define that and put together baseline metrics so that we would have a way to judge whether we were improving and help us prioritize our investment in quality. So, you know, if we knew that student satisfaction related to instructor pedagogy, which research says it does, and we've seen that trend at Capella, we can then choose to invest our dollars in faculty development for pedagogy and innovation in pedagogy. So those quality measures and those indicators and benchmarks are not easy to identify. But I think steps forward in that work really pays off and helps the organization as well as the learners and faculty grow.
Let me go back to the entrenched faculty at Blacksburg. Sure. So you have your tenured faculty. Mm-hmm. And do you dare tell them that their quality is not up to snuff?
Well, I wouldn't put it like that, but we certainly work with them, and we're very quality oriented there. We've used for we take a holistic approach to distance learning at Virginia Tech, where we look at not just the delivery of instruction, but the entire aspect of what this education is. I mean, we're talking education. That's why we have support services and enrollment and